I think we started in 2011 already with some trends which are still valid for the coming future. On the other hand, we've really focused very much also on the fashion side of them, so on the temporary effect it would have on the market. Now we look at a more long-term development as well, so we think that the consumers are main importance, and they are the starting point to come up with these trends. So there's a lot of talk about crafts, about authenticity, about issues which will be important for coming future, and also which brings us developments and trends which are not yet just there for one season. So it's a very interesting era. There is a lot happening. There's also some confusion, of course, because there's a lot of developments which are quite concerning. On the other hand, there's a lot of optimism as well. And it all is reflected in the trends and all seen out of the eyes of the consumers. So, of course, they are not interpreted yet, and that's the interesting thing. So we started now with the inspirations. We discuss a lot about where it comes from and where we think it will go in general, but now it's up to the designers to come up with ideas, to interpret them, to apply them. In general, of course, there's a lot of fabrics and textiles, but we truly believe that lots of the influences will be very important also for wallpapers, for laminates, for more harder and constructive matters and materials. So it is ideas which are about general feel for style, which has to finally, of course, inspire the total business of interior decoration and of textile development. So I'm sure that they reflect international trends also because it comes from a very international team. So all the influences which are now in the book and in the trends and will be in the video and also later in the exhibition, they reflect what the ideas and the thoughts and the research of people who come from all regions from all over the world. So we brought it together, and finally it's a compromise where we really come to very clear tendencies which are very broad and now have to be interpreted by every region and by every country, because we truly think it's very important to also think local. So it's even part of the trend now that it's important to think local. So people really have to be very much aware of their own consumers, of their own context, of their own surrounding, but also of what they are willing to produce, their own identity and profile. So there will be a big difference, because there are countries where they really have a problem with certain type of colors, very practical also. There's also something about heritage, cultural heritage of each separate country. Then there is a really differentiations where people are more into the luxury market and where people more want something really more simple or practical. And then costs, of course, money is a big issue as well. So it's very important that everybody looks at it from their own perspective, from their own specific subject which they really have to deal with. My favorite chapter personally is Mix Mesh, because I truly love the freedom of design. I think it's very important to surprise people, and also I think it's very surprising to mix the unexpected. Also, that's really happening in this chapter, because there we look at culture, but also ancient culture, crafts, folklore, and we mix it also with technology and total modern influences. Also there, I think the idea that people really connect and try to connect all kind of influences and bring it together in something totally new is very interesting. And you see also that this is very much consumer driven, because they are the ones already who connect lots of inspiration and bring it together. For instance, on the internet, the way they start already nearly their own musea by also promoting certain kind of design or certain kind of art and put it together on their own website. It's totally freedom of design appreciation also. So for me that's a very important chapter. On the other hand, I think what's more underneath it is also craft, and that is in every chapter. So the other ones are very precious. It's a sobriety where you also see it in a very much more quiet way, but there is craft behind behind it. And I truly think that a new generation of designers, but also the ones who are there already for a long time, they have a lot of knowledge and they have to share it together, the young ones and the ones who are there for a long time, and it's very important. Also ancient crafts, and also looking for new authenticity, for true, created and also handmade products is a very interesting starting point. So I think there's in each chapter something which is very interesting, but a lot comes together in the mix match chapter, which for me is a very, very nice one.